For generations, humanity has operated under the comforting scientific assumption that the universe is an isotropic, infinitely expanding expanse, bound only by the chaotic aftermath of the Big Bang. According to standard cosmological models heavily defended by institutional academia, looking deeper into the cosmic dawn should reveal nothing more than primitive, scattered gas clouds and infant galaxies drifting aimlessly through an ever-growing void. However, this foundational pillar of modern physics was completely upended when the James Webb Space Telescope pointed its hypersensitive, gold-coated primary mirrors toward an supposedly vacant, pitch-black sector of the deep cosmos. Operating at absolute zero in the frozen isolation of the second Lagrange point, the telescope's near-infrared camera pierced through billions of light-years of primordial dust, only to transmit a series of highly anomalous deep-field data packets that sent shockwaves through NASA's top-tier research facilities. Instead of a desolate, fading twilight near the dawn of time, the telemetry revealed an impossible, monolithic barrier spanning billions of light-years across the cosmic horizon, a colossal, hyper-dense arrangement of ancient matter that early data streams explicitly describe as a definitive, impenetrable cosmic wall. The physical metrics of this newly detected cosmic boundary have triggered a silent, profound existential panic among deep space astrophysicists and theoretical researchers. As advanced computing clusters frantically began rendering the raw deep field imagery, scientists discovered that this titanic structure, resembling an unnatural, highly organized cosmic grid, violates the fundamental cosmological principle which states that matter must be evenly distributed throughout the universe. The sheer scale of this titanic entity suggests it was already fully formed less than a few 100 million years after the universe began, a physical impossibility under current temporal laws. To a growing faction of rogue theorists, this massive structural anomaly presents a chilling, paradigm-shifting realization. The James Webb Space Telescope has not just found a massive cluster of early galaxies, but has accidentally photographed the literal physical edge of our observable reality. The terrifying implication that our universe possesses a defined, engineered perimeter is causing intense behind-the-scenes turmoil as institutional space agencies scramble to classify the telemetry before the public realizes that humanity has just caught its very first glimpse of the outer architecture holding our cosmic simulation together. The localized physical conditions surrounding this geometric barrier only deepen the cosmic nightmare, utterly defying the known laws of thermodynamics and general relativity. When researchers at the Space Telescope Science Institute attempted to calculate the gravitational mass required to hold such a titanic framework together, their equations fractured. The space-time fabric around the perimeter of this cosmic wall is so violently distorted that light emitting from behind it doesn't just bend, it undergoes severe unnatural gravitational lensing that stretches background cosmic microwave radiation into bizarre recurring geometric patterns. It is as if the telescope is staring directly into a mirror at the absolute boundary of space, where the standard laws of physics are actively being rewritten or completely terminated. Deep space telemetry confirms that this region experiences an impossible drop in quantum fluctuations, exhibiting an absolute dead state of vacuum that shouldn't exist in a naturally expanding universe, suggesting a dead zone where creation itself comes to a sudden grinding halt. This sudden, unsettling data has triggered a bitter, highly classified ideological war within the walls of defense-contracted aerospace laboratories. For decades, the global scientific elite has scoffed at the concept of a closed universe, yet the infrared spectrum data downloaded from the James Webb Telescope paints an undeniable picture of containment. Anonymous insiders within the propulsion laboratories have leaked accounts of emergency meetings where researchers openly discussed the boundary problem, the terrifying realization that the telescope's sensors aren't looking at an infinite horizon, but are striking a hard pixelated limit in the cosmic rendering engine. If this wall is indeed a structural bulkhead of the cosmos, it implies that every galaxy, star, and black hole we have ever mapped is contained within a tightly controlled cosmic bubble. The panicked rush to analyze these specific coordinates isn't driven by academic curiosity, but by a desperate military and scientific effort to determine if this cosmic barrier is completely static or if the perimeter is slowly contracting around us. The absolute secrecy now surrounding these deep field coordinates mirrors the darkest eras of military censorship, proving that the true architecture of the cosmos is deemed too dangerous for public consumption. Immediately following the initial transmission of the grid anomalies, access to the telescope's raw data pipeline for that specific sector was abruptly restricted, cited under an emergency instrument calibration protocol that has now stretched on for weeks. Academic teams who spent years securing observation time for those exact celestial coordinates have had their clearances revoked without explanation, replaced by classified military personnel specializing in deep sky signal processing. The mainstream media continues to release sanitized, beautiful images of colorful nebulae and swirling spiral galaxies to keep the public distracted, while behind closed doors, the world's most powerful nations are quietly coming to terms with a devastating, undeniable truth. We are not drifting through an endless open sea of stars. We are locked inside an enclosed cosmic aquarium, and the glass has just been spotted. The implications of this localized data lock have forced a radical, terrifying re-evaluation of anomalous deep space signals that have baffled astronomers for decades. For years, deep space radio telescopes have recorded an inexplicable uniform low-frequency electromagnetic hum echoing from the furthest margins of the cosmic void, a phenomenon previously dismissed as harmless background noise or instrumental interference. Now, with the James Webb Telescope exposing the exact physical coordinates of this monolithic perimeter, data analysts have overlaid the old audio frequencies with the new structural grid data. The results are horrifying. The cosmic hum isn't the fading residual echo of a natural Big Bang. It is a violent, rhythmic reverberation bouncing off a solid surface. This immense barrier is functioning like a cosmic sounding board, reflecting the collective energy of a billion burning galaxies right back into the center of the bubble, proving that our universe is experiencing a slow, localized buildup of radiation that has nowhere left to escape. As the international scientific community faces this definitive, claustrophobic reality, the clock is rapidly ticking for humanity to decode the final, chilling anomaly hidden within the telescope's restricted server banks. The outermost layers of the wall aren't composed of standard elements found on the periodic table, but an unstable, hyperdense crystalline state of matter that appears to actively absorb light rather than reflect it, suggesting it serves as a massive cosmic dampener designed to keep our universe entirely invisible to whatever lies on the other side. Ultimately, the discovery of this impossible cosmic bulkhead strips humanity of its comforting illusions of infinite manifest destiny, replacing them with the raw, clinical truth of our collective confinement. until independent, unmonitored telescopes manage to bypass the government firewall and pierce this final frontier. The true nature of the architects who built this cosmic cage will remain heavily classified, leaving a quarantined civilization to look up at a sky whose boundaries have officially been mapped. The realization that our entire reality is structurally bounded transforms every modern space program into an outward journey of discovery, into a desperate, frantic attempt to breach the perimeter. Internal white papers circulating within advanced aerospace defense sectors suggest that the sudden global rush to develop hyper-advanced propulsion systems and nuclear-powered deep space vessels isn't about colonizing nearby planets, but about reaching this cosmic bulkhead before our containment field shifts. If the universe is a closed simulation or a physical quarantine zone, then the ultimate goal of high-level physics is no longer to understand nature, but to break through the artificial code that restrains us. Every telescope vector, every classified quantum experiment, and every deep field scan is now focused entirely on finding a structural flaw, a digital or physical fracture in the crystalline matrix of the Great Wall, where the simulation's rendering engine might be failing. As the curtain of official secrecy drops harder over the James Webb telemetry, the global public is left standing at the edge of a profound psychological precipice. For centuries, looking up at the stars brought a sense of infinite, terrifying freedom. Now, it brings the cold, clinical claustrophobia of a laboratory specimen looking at the walls of its enclosure. We are forced to confront the ultimate, unsettling question of our existence. What happens when a quarantined civilization finally realizes it is being watched, and what is waiting just on the other side of the glass, watching back?